So we're here today with Judy and George, and we'll be talking about the toxicity in water. As most of you know, our body's made of 75% of water, so it's elementary that people are aware of the toxicity. Hi, Judith. Hi, George.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
So could you please tell me a little bit about the toxicity in water and what people should be aware of?
Well, we've been doing some extensive research for a while now, and we were amazed at what we could find. Your tap water, for example, has an enormous amount of bacteria, pesticide. You find all sorts of viruses. You have pharmaceutical. Yes. And so the EPA has just allowed the cities to increase their amount of chloride that they put, chlorine that they put in their water in order to kill the bacteria. But as we know, the chlorine can be quite toxic, and we're drinking that. Now, they have come up with a lot of alternatives to try to correct that by selling bottled water, which are supposed to be purified. They're supposed to be much better, but actually they're not. Because of the process they're doing, they become very acidic. And there's also a reverse osmosis, which will strip the water of a lot of those toxins. But on the other hand, it takes also all your good minerals out of the water. So your body is taking on water that is pretty much dead water. It doesn't have anything to nourish it. So eventually, your body is going to start stealing minerals from your bones, your teeth, and your heart in order to be able to keep your blood at the right level of pH.
So you were talking about the pH level. How does the pH level affect the body?
The pH is per hydrogen, which is actually a French word, par hydrogène, which is started. It counts the amount of hydrogen that is in the water. And it's from 1 to 14 actually. And 7 is neutral. So it counts the amount of hydrogen that you have, ionized hydrogen in the water. And below 7, it's acidic. Above 7, it's alkaline. Now, it's a logarithmic scale, which means that if you have 6, it's 10 times more acidic than 7. If you have 8, it's 10 times more alkaline than 7.
So we want to be the more alkaline as possible so that our body heal itself naturally.
Because we're already over-acidic. So we need more alkalinity than actually our body needs in order to compensate for the over-acidity.
So tell me about this machine. It looks like it's from outer space, and it seems like it's a great solution for acidity in water.
This is what we've discovered. About 8 months ago or so, we met a friend who was type 2 diabetic, and she had really made a major change in her life, and she wanted to tell us about it because she had lots of energy, and she found that her life, her well-being was certainly much more prominent than it was before, and she told us about alkaline ionized water. And this, so she told us about this machine, and what this machine does is it hooks into your tap water, real simple, and then through the process, first it filters the water, so it'll take out all of those elements that George was talking about, the pharmaceuticals, chlorine, all the bacteria, all the bad stuff you don't want to be drinking.
Heavy metals,
and it makes the water pure. Now it goes into a chamber, and can go from there.
Well, the chamber is actually an electrolysis. It changes the water into negative and positive ions. The positive ion is hydrogen that has lost its electron and goes into one chamber or one flow, and that's what we use to care for our outside body. Like people use it for eczema, for psoriasis.
The acid water?
Actually, yeah,
Really?
with tremendous result. The alkaline water, which is OH negative, which is negative ion, goes into the body and it neutralizes all the free radicals. And also, it will raise your pH, and you can control the amount of pH you want, at whatever level you want.
Is there such a thing as too much pH?
No, you can actually drink up to even 11.
Really?
It doesn't taste quite as good at that level. But let's say we have gone all the way up to 10, and then you can really taste the mineral. But it will detox your whole body very, very strongly. And whatever alkalis that your body does not need, it turns it into hydrogen or water inside your body. But your body needs anyway for especially oxygen to prevent you from getting cancer. Because the cancer cannot develop in either alkaline or oxygenated environment. So also what it does is that it microclusters the water. Very briefly, the water we drink at the tap or even purified water, bottled water, has clusters of oxygen of H2O that is like up to 20 clustered molecules of water.
So that's basically the molecules of water sticking all together to protect themselves?
Basically, yes, because the water is so acidic. So then the cells, is very difficult for the cell to absorb it because it's so large. What in the process of electrolysis, it divides at least in half those clusters. So then your cells are able to absorb that a whole lot easier. So you get hydrated.
Right, so this is an answer to our dehydration, which, as you know, dehydration is really one of the culprits for many, many diseases. And when you start to hydrate your body, and you'd be amazed, when you drink this water, all of a sudden you become real thirsty because your body is telling you, I want this water, I want this water, and I want more, so that you will actually be hydrated. We have found, personally, an incredible benefit just from the hydration standpoint because we're very active. We bike 30 miles at a time, and drinking this water, it will rehydrate us and re-energize us. Most people who actually start with alkaline ionized water, after a week or maybe even less than a week, begin to feel, some actually, we felt it almost instantaneously, a high energy, a surplus of energy, really, so much so that we had to drink less. No, we drank the same amount, but it is highly energizing.
So if I understand correctly, I live in Hudson, in the middle of the forest. We have trees everywhere. We're close to the sea. We drink well water that I thought tasted good. So it's still missing something?
Well, it's basically missing everything. You know, this machine doesn't do anything miraculous. All it does is bring the water the way it was a very long time ago, filled with antioxidant, with a pH level of about 9, and it's microclustered, which is everything you need for your health. Now, the only place that we can find these qualities in nature anymore, they have found 3 places.
In the whole world?
In the whole world. It doesn't mean there isn't any other, but they haven't found them. There's in El Salvador, Ecuador. There's this place in the mountains where people there that are living, they interviewed this lady who was 104 and this guy who was 107, and they were working out in the field all day. Heavy work. Their mind was very, very clear. They were not tired. They sat there and were interviewed. And they didn't know anything about disease. Their teeth were all perfect. And the other place is the Hunza in Afghanistan. Way in the mountain, there's a village called the Hunza. And the people there live exactly the same way. And all they do is drink that water. They use it for cooking. They use it, and their health is perfect. And they live in the hundreds. The other place they found is in the glaciers. There's a place I think it's in northern Canada, in the glaciers. The glaciers used to be what they call the glacier milk because the mineral in it was so potent. That's all gone. That's all gone because of all the pollution that we produce.
So how does this actually work in my kitchen?
Well, you can have a few ways to connect it to your water line. You can connect it directly to your tap. You can connect it to your water line underneath the sink just by making a little hole in the counter, and you connect it there, and then it sits on your counter. The alkaline water will come through here, and there's a tube that you don't see here and that goes in your sink. That's the acid water that you can collect. You can use it for your gardens. Incredible. Your plants, your vegetable will just blossom with that. And again, to treat your acid body. You can control the amount of alkalinity you want through this knob here. You can even bring the acid water through this tube by selecting the acid. If you just want to have purified water, filtered water, you push this button and it's not alkaline. Then it's not processed. It's just filtered.